Hello and welcome to Church at Home with Rachel and Dude for Monday morning, the 12th of April. I hope that you had a really great weekend and that you're enjoying this Easter season. It's been a little bit chilly. We had beautiful weather on Friday, I think it was, but Saturday and Sunday a little chilly here. But spring is coming, and we desperately need rain for our farmers. So if you're saying a prayer for the weather, please suck it up and say a prayer for rain. We need some moisture for the farmers. We need your help. We need God's help here. When I was thinking about what I would talk about today, I got thinking about the state of the world that we're in, the state of the church, and where we're called to go with the church right now. Sort of post-pandemic. I'm so sick of thinking about the pandemic and doing church online and all those things, which it's amazing that we can do this. A year and a half ago, I would never have guessed that we would be. And even a year ago, I wouldn't have said that I would be doing it. But I'd like to just think about the church post-pandemic for a few minutes. Let's just jump ahead a few months and hopefully not too long and think about what will the church look like. The church, I think, is going to probably be very different. In many ways, we'll probably try to go back to the way it was. The common cup thing for us Anglicans, I don't know. I'm not sure. As much as theologically, I really appreciate the understanding of the common cup. Sorry, dude keeps moving the table. I understand and I appreciate the theology of the common cup and the purpose of it and what it reminds us of. I'm wondering if maybe the common cup has become so scary for people that the intention of having the common cup, sharing the blood of Christ from the same chalice, might be overwhelmed by people's fear of that very thing that gives us salvation and new life might bring us illness. And I think that's something that the theologians and the leaders of the church are going to have to think long and hard about once things settle down and we discover what's safe and what isn't and where we go from here. So it's just one of those things I think that will be different in some ways, at least for some people. I think that probably the online worship things, the things that parishes have done, is going to have to continue. In small churches like mine in St. Thomas and Wainwright and St. Mary's in Edgerton, we're going to continue with online sort of gospel sermon prayers once we're back in church, at least for a while. And we'll see how that goes and see if we're reaching people that maybe aren't able to come out or don't feel comfortable coming out, or even a new group of people, that are further away. If we do, then we'll continue. And if it's not, if it's not really doing anything for anyone, then we might stop. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But I keep thinking about what, like, overall, those are really, really small things. What is the church going to look like when this pandemic is over? When we dust ourselves off and we start to rebuild and reestablish norms. I don't think the norms are ever going to be the same as they were pre-March of 2020. But what might the new norms look like? Which got me back to thinking about something that, this is so ridiculous, but something that when my stepson was living with us, and he had his computer on, he would watch on YouTube these things called epic fails, like watching people like try to, drive a pencil through a table with their forehead, skateboarding down the railing of steps, things like that, and watching, he'd giggle and laugh so hard when they'd fall off and hurt themselves. I didn't get it, but they were called epic fails. And then I got thinking, in my world in the church in St. James in Halifax, they were so sick of hearing about epic fails, because I got thinking, if we're going to try something, we don't know if it's going to work. We're going to try something new. We don't know for sure it's going to work. And if we try it only half-heartedly because it might fail, then we've only given it half an effort to be a positive outcome, that it might succeed. So if we give it 100% effort to make something new succeed and we fail, then we have 100% fail. Well, not really, but we fail big. If we go out and we do something really big and it absolutely crashes, then that's an epic fail. An example, for instance, I got together with a group of ladies from my church in St. James, Halifax, probably about 5 years ago. And I'd come from a diocese that every year held a children's festival. for the diocese, where kids would come together at the cathedral and they would sing together and hear scripture and do crafts and games, and they would break bread together and have a Eucharist together. And it was a great time. The bishop was there. So I thought, we don't have something like this in our diocese, so why don't we try this for the Halifax area? And we sort of sent the idea out, and I had a few parishes that say, yeah, that they might send their kids. So we thought this is a lot of work. We have a lot of planning we need to do. So we were ordering Bibles, so each of the kids would go home with a Bible, and we ordered reusable bags that could be decorated. The kids, that would be a craft, and all of the things they collected that day could go there. And it came down to either we float the idea and see how many people say they're absolutely positively going to come, and then we plan madly, wildly, or we do the planning and we get everything ready to go, and then we invite people and see whether or not they're willing to come. So we picked a day. I had 5 or 6 ladies in the parish who got really into it with me. We came up with a theme for the day. We had advertising done. We came up with all the different stations and different kinds of food. Our purpose for the day, we're going to work on the 5 marks of mission. We were going to talk about God's world and how we could take care of it ecologically. We had everything going. We even had the music picked out, and these ladies discovered things about themselves and their ability to find resources and think creatively they didn't know they had before. And we did everything. We got everything planned. All our volunteers lined up, and we sent out for people to register, and no one registered. I think a big part of that was the clergy. They were a little bit, like, well, this is going to work, so why would we do it? I don't think they realized they didn't have to do anything but ask the kids. But for whatever reason, it didn't work. We had no one registered, just the kids from our own church. And they already knew about it already because they were helping us with it. So that didn't work. It was an epic fail. And we ended up with like 75 Bibles and 100 bags, because I had to order them in 50s, that we could give out. And it seemed like, the parish was kind of grumbling because, well, we spent all that money on the Bibles and on the bags. We spent about $400. That's it. And we had some money come in from the diocese to help us to do this, because it was a special endeavor. So they really weren't out any money at all, after all. But this epic fail helped us all to realize something about ourselves, that this group of ladies and I could think differently, that a church that really didn't have very many children could actually try to do something for the children in the diocese, or at least in the city. And maybe it didn't work the first time, but we learned so many lessons that if we had worked on it again a second time, we would know, okay, we'll do this differently, or we'll try that differently, or we'll do something else. What we also ended up with, though, was a whole bunch of Bibles that we started giving out to people who were being baptized and confirmed, or new to the church. And we ended up with all of these bags, these reusable bags, that we started giving out when people would come to the door of the church and ask for help. Rather than simply sending them to the Salvation Army or giving them a gift card, we had people donate food. So we would give them pasta and pasta sauces and toilet paper and can openers and soup cans, and we'd fill this canvas bag to overflowing so that they could take it home with them and reuse it themselves. So nothing went to waste. When I left in 2019, I think we had about 6 Bibles left, and about 25 of the bags were left. So nothing went to waste. It was really, really good use of what we had. And God worked with us and through us in ways we never anticipated. And it really did change, if not the whole congregation, at least the group of ladies who were working together, and our volunteers who are willing to help us. If we don't ever try anything, then we won't go anywhere. We have to be willing to say, so what? And if it's an epic fail, then let's make it an epic fail. Let's learn big from those things that didn't work. Because I guarantee you, if we say, so what? So if we say, why not? Sorry, not so what, but why not? Why not try something new? If we don't say it, we'll never take a step forward in faith and understand what God might be calling us to do next. And if we say, why not? And say, okay, we're going to try it, and we fail, and we have an epic fail. First of all, we have lots of great stories to tell. We can be a little bit embarrassed, and there's nothing wrong with a bit of humility and embarrassment. Not humiliation, but humility. And then we can look back and say, okay, so that particular project we tried failed, but what else did we learn from it? Where were the successes in that? Because I guarantee you something went right. So as a church, as a Christian church, as a parish of Wainwright and Edgerton, as a diocese of Edmonton, as ecumenical groups in our ministerials around the diocese, around Alberta, how can we look at the time that's post-pandemic and say, why not? And let's have an epic fail. Let's give it a try. And if we fail, let's fail epically. Let's make it a failure of biblical proportions, because every time someone failed in the Bible, something or someone came up out of it, that God raised them up, and something even better came out of it, or it wouldn't be in the Bible. So just something to think about as we move forward post-pandemic. Let's work on epic fails and answering that question, why not? Being afraid should never be the answer. Why not? Sounds like an invitation to try. So as you go about your day, even though we're not post-pandemic yet, I invite you to say why not when something comes up and challenges you to do something new. And if you're worried about failing, make it an epic fail. Try so hard that when you fail, it's wild. And then pick yourself up, have a good laugh, and figure out what you learned from it, because I guarantee you will learn something. Have a great day, everybody. God bless you. Stay safe. Get your vaccination. Please wear your masks, and pray for our frontline workers and all those who are slogging it through with this virus. Not everyone ends up in hospital, but lots of people have long-term ramifications from the virus. So let's do our part to keep ourselves and others safe and healthy. God bless you, and thank you for being with me today. I will see you tomorrow for Church at Home with Rachel.